Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Buffet. Today, I'm alone. Today, I'll be discussing The Acolyte. Oh boy, it's that time. It is time to once again catch up with Star Wars. First of all, until the Skeleton Crew comes out, but that we won't review that until 2025 when it finishes like January, I think. And of course, talk about this. This series ended back in July? July. Yeah, in July. And we haven't talked about it yet. There's a lot of stuff. Again, we didn't do any episodes in July. We didn't talk about it yet. We just haven't been able to. But now it is time. We can't avoid it. Well, I can't avoid it now. Originally, Dragon was supposed to, share the stage with me here, but sorry guys, we won't be really seeing him for a while on the podcast. For a little bit, he's off doing some other stuff, and I don't know when he's gonna come back officially, but he will come back at some point to talk about more stuff. As for Star Wars, he was like we were the Star Wars duo here. We talked. It was every episode was us talking about Star Wars for an hour and almost 2 hours talking about Star Wars. But yeah, so yeah, and he didn't even watch the series, and I don't blame him. So we're talking about this now, and also there's been a lot of discussion about the series this month. I think earlier this month, later in August, and people are apparently cropping up saying that basically it got canceled. The series got canned. I'm gonna talk about it later. Series got canned, and people are mad about it. I'll talk about that in more specific later. But just to start it off, who are you people? The Acolyte is terrible. What are you talking about? Secondly, what the fuck did you expect? Anyways, oh wait, I should really say, what the fuck did you expect? This series bombed. There we go. So yeah, now that I got that out of the way and got all those people mad and stuff, I'm not trying to make everyone mad too much. But I'll talk about that later. Just a little prelude. Also, this, unlike the episodes on the Marvels and another thing I talked about that was terrible. I remember. Probably, I don't know. I really don't know. Ruby Volume 5. This is unlike those episodes, I am not joking about this being a PSA to not watch the series. I think that The Acolyte had a lot of potential. I really, really did. And if you go back to when we were talking about the trailers, you know that I was excited for the series, and I was really looking forward to seeing this new era of Star Wars and what it could bring. Like, not this new era, but this new series about what it could show about the High Republic. I wasn't very well versed in the High Republic era. It's an era Disney made. It makes sense. I think it's an era that makes sense. I guess very. It's when the Jedi were at their prime. In the universe, and just I was very excited. I'd never seen anything. I'd never read any of the books or any comics or any of that. I'd never read anything that was High Republic related. And this series was supposed to be like the grand conclusion of all the High Republic stuff. At least that's what it was advertised. That's what it was advertised as first. So I was really excited to see what the series could bring, but it just didn't bring what it needed to bring. It brought some stuff. It did really bring some stuff, and that's why it actually saves it from the F tier. I like this series is not an F tier just because it has some stuff that's actually kind of cool. But there's a lot of stuff that is also kind of dog shit, and there's no way of really defending it other than it just being bad writing. Of course, the writers have every single control over those characters. The fact that a character couldn't do that, had no choice, isn't an argument, because the writers have a choice. Maybe the character has no choice because the writers wrote themselves into a corner. That's why the character has no choice, because the writers had no choice. What the hell was that? Okay. Apparently Craig just disconnected. I don't know if there's that really does anything. It kind of disconnected pretty fast, but whatever. I'll continue on. Yeah, no, like it's just the thing. Like, it was about this. No, it was that. No, it's bad writing. It's bad writing. It's bad writing. I'll get into why it's bad writing, but it's bad writing. So yeah, let's just start off where we always start off with the CGI in action, which is one of the only positives I can really give this show. The action is pretty good. Like, it's actually pretty good. Like, every time a Jedi fights, they always fight with what I think a Jedi would fight with, not with not trying to really attack, using the Force to enhance rather than actually attack. And whenever it's a lightsaber fight, it's very calmly paced, and they have a calm tone, not a calm tone. I guess a calm fighting style. And the fight scene with the stranger slaughtering all the Jedi, that's really cool. That was a really cool fight scene. Pretty much almost anything with the stranger is actually kind of cool. It's actually cool. Whenever he's not blabbering on about nothing, I think he's actually kind of cool. Yeah, every time he shuts the fuck up, that's when he's a good character. When he's just slaughtering people. And also the CGI is also cool. It obviously this is a Star Wars show. This show cost $165 million. So yeah, obviously the CGI has to look good. I wouldn't expect anything else from that. No shit. So I don't know. I'm recollecting my thoughts. Obviously it has to look good. I wouldn't expect anything else from these guys. The Star Wars series CGI has always looked pretty well. It's always looked not subpar. It always looks pretty good. Aside from times where the end of the series, it just looks kind of bad. But this series doesn't really use CGI all that much. And that really enhances it, and I really do like that. I actually do like that. The CGI is used not sparingly. I guess you could say it's sparingly, but it's always it doesn't look bad. To me, at least, it doesn't look bad. From what I remember, last time I watched the series was 2 months ago when the finale came out, and I don't want to rewatch the series. I really don't. I'm not gonna. It's eight episodes of nothing. So I think that's all I gotta say about the CGI in action. Really, that's really about it. This episode is gonna be a lot shorter than the other Star Wars reviews, mainly because again, Dragon's not here to be here to bash it with me, or really talk about it with me. So yeah, let's talk about the characters. I only have 4 characters here. That's the kind of a first for like Star Wars. There's only 4 I want to really talk about. That's. Well, I mean, Tales of the Empire. That one has less characters, but yeah, only 4. So I want to talk about. First off, let's talk about the main character, Osha. So Osha is would have been an interesting character. I think she has a very interesting base and a very good base for a character. Actually, like, she would have been probably the best Star Wars character. I think it could have been. So she is a former Jedi who doesn't really align. Didn't really align with what the Jedi was doing. From what I remember, like, she didn't really like the Jedi. She didn't feel like a Jedi, pretty much. And she was trained by Soul, and she's actually the twin of another character called May. And basically, a big accident happened with spoilers if you haven't watched the series, but everyone on the Earth, actually no one on the Earth has watched the series, but everyone has knows what happened in it. So Osha, basically, she's a twin sister. A big accident happened with the Jedi. The Jedi accidentally killed her mother, which I will get to later. And Osha is sent to train with a Jedi because she wants to be a Jedi. Okay, she's trained by Souls. Again, doesn't really align with him. Then it's sort of like then she has like the character arc of becoming a dark force, a dark side of the Force user, like, a dark side user. That's what I was looking for, dark side user. So she will evolve to becoming a dark side user eventually, by learning that Soul killed her mother. But what I think is the problem here is that the whole thing with Soul isn't a good base. Like, what happened with Soul it wasn't written well, so it didn't have the same impact as what had happened, what would have happened. Like, if maybe it was like the fact that the Jedi, like, maybe it was some corrupt Jedi in there. I don't know. Like, if maybe Soul was like a corrupt Jedi or something. I think that Osha's story would have been really good. I liked it, but the thing is with her story is that she was in the dark about everything for 7 episodes. 5 episodes. Because for some reason this series has a weird ass pacing, with the fact that we have two flashback episodes that don't have anything, like, don't have a tie-in. They just happen, and we just cut back to what we were doing earlier. And I don't remember what the point of the helmet was, but it didn't do anything because Osha was still gonna go find Soul. And, like, we went out with him, whatever. Like, that nothing would have changed. Nothing did change. She was in the dark for 5 of the 6 actual episodes the series has for a story. So, and then at the end, in like the shortest finale, not the shortest finale, but like one of the shortest finales, she just finds out that Soul lied about what happened to them. Obviously gets mad. But I feel like what we learned about it in the previous episode, that he acted out of and not out of self-defense, but thinking that they would attack, which is fair, I guess. Like, there was always this black magic going around them. Like, obviously, it wasn't like they were no idea what happened there. I'm not even sure if Discord picked that up. You know, it wasn't like the Jedi wanted to kill her or something. Like, it wasn't like the Jedi wanted to kill her. They were there just to find out if Osha was gonna come with them or not. And she was, but she didn't tell her immediately. And instead of doing anything, helping with the Jedi, like trying not to antagonize the Jedi, she decided to turn into a big cloud monster, and she didn't see that coming, and she fucking died. Like, she got killed. And Osha was gonna go with you, and now all the Jedi are being targeted. Like, yeah, dude, the first shot, but the first shot was like them being scared. Like, my fucking god, it's such a stupid thing. It's such a stupid just thing to have in the show. So yeah, Osha would have worked if, one, she had doubts earlier about Soul's like alliances, but she didn't. The last thing we learned about, like, she learned about Soul that he had secrets or like a dark side or whatever. But like, that could have been anything. That legitimately could have been anything. Aside from, killing your mother. Like, she wouldn't, and she didn't care. She really, really didn't care. And she was gonna go find Soul anyways. So yeah, Osha gets mad, and then she turns into, and then she bleeds a lightsaber. Also, the bleeding lightsaber isn't contradictory at all. I just gotta say this. It was a point to be sure. It was made to a point that the Kyber crystal was exposed, and Osha is implied to have put negative force energy into it. It doesn't contradict Anakin's lightsaber. It is different than the first time we do see bleeding happen in Jedi Survivor, but it's still bleeding. It's still lightsaber bleeding. Like it's still just the exact same thing we saw there. Nothing changed. Nothing actually changed. So yeah, Osha would have been interesting. I liked what Osha was piping up to be. It would have been really, really interesting. But then, rush it out last episode. We should have gotten more. We should have gotten more, because I think more would have really helped the series. But it just didn't. This Osha doesn't work as a character, because Soul's entire moral dilemma wasn't written well. So yeah, I think that's what I know about Osha. Let's talk about May a little. Okay, May is not the best character in the series, to be frank with you. So May apparently, so these two characters, Osha and May, are apparently the same person brought by the Force. I really don't care about this at all, about them being made by the Force or whatever, made by the way that we choose with the Force, because I mean, kind of makes sense. Like, so basically, okay. These were made by the Force, which we know happens because the Force, for the Force made Anakin, so we know the Force can make life. And this was brought by, naturally using the Force. Like, using the Force to do this thing I can already do. Like, that's something the Force can do, and we know it can do because it did it to Anakin. And Anakin doesn't stop being the chosen one, because the Force did that by itself. It didn't need conjuring from another person. It did that by itself. So he's still very important because he wasn't born by anybody actually already Force sensitive. So what happened with these characters? May and Osha are the same person, but apparently he's like split apart with the Force or whatever. And what Darth Plagueis and Palpatine eventually do is something using the dark side instead, which is like cloning and eternal life and whatever. So I'm guessing that's why. I think that's why, and that's why Anakin was made by the Force specifically, because these people were tampering with the Force itself. Like, instead of using the Force, they're manipulating it. That's what I'm guessing is gonna be is the actual explanation for like why these ones are fine and why Anakin wasn't born earlier. But But anyways, May as a character doesn't really work, I think. She actually has kind of zero purpose. She doesn't. I think you could write her out of the series and change minimal things. The Force, whatever the fuck that was there, could have just made Osha instead. Like, it could have been enough to make Osha instead. Just Osha. The fire. Not the fire, but maybe like something else could have happened to alert the. To do something. Maybe the witches were attacked by someone. Maybe the Jedi would fall. Maybe the witches were attacked, or maybe it was just what I said. Like, the Jedi would corrupt and wanted to kill her anyways. Just take Osha. Like, that could have happened. We didn't need the whole assassination plot. Maybe that could have been something interesting. The assassination plot didn't really do much. That could have just been just been Kamir doing that to lure out Osha, or maybe maybe frame Osha. Like, you could write. I think you could write May out of series. Really, she has no point. She wants to really help. She wants to help Osha, but then, like, even with the flashback that we saw, she still tried to kill her, even though she had like a snap back to reality moment and tried to stop the fire. Like, she still tried to, like, she still tried to set her sister on fire and trap her in there. Like, that you can't really walk away from that. So I think May is a pretty bad character, like a pretty badly written character that doesn't really add anything to the series. Because she's the main person that really starts off the series. Like, Kimura wants an acolyte or something, and well, we could have gotten that still with him, like making Osha the acolyte at the end, like manipulating her into thinking that the Jedi are evil. All this could happen without May. I think all this could happen without May. Really, May is that pointless. I think. And something I've never seen anyone really say. May is just pointless. So that's my stance on May. I'm probably not gonna talk about her as much. She's not a good character. She really really isn't a good character. I just don't like. I just don't like man. Okay, I think that's all I gotta say about May. Let's talk about Soul. So Soul again is an interesting character, a Jedi with a dark past. Like, but then again, but then again, like what I said earlier, that his base doesn't really work because he acted kind of in self-defense, like semi self-defense. Or at least trying to protect himself. And like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just kind of a weak base, and the character would have been fine. I think I don't have much to say about Soul, honestly, because he's just kind of there. We don't really see him develop or any. Well, we do see him kind of develop and like really be sorrow for his actions, but he's always kind of been sorrow for his actions. Like. And they muster up the courage. I guess he develops a little, but to really be. But again, that development was already kind of just festering in there. I don't know. So it's such a again. Okay, the actors here didn't do a bad job. Like they had kind of a bad script to work with, but they didn't do a bad job at the script. Like they managed to really turn this over and make this into a good show. Like I not a good show, but a good performance. Like I can respect that. I can respect that. But then again, I don't know. Then again, like it's just kind of not like the material isn't good. The material isn't good. That's all. Yeah, no, the material isn't really that good. So Soul, like, just then in the end he dies. He gets killed by Osha. I think for a rushed ass plot line. And yeah. That's all I really got to say about Soul, to be honest. Let's talk about Kimir. Kimir is, I think, again, Kimir, I like Kimir whenever he shuts the fuck up. Because whenever he speaks, it is kind of cringy. He's not the best. Honestly, whoever didn't see this twist coming from a mile away, with him being the stranger, is genuine moron. Like, what do you mean you didn't see his twist coming? This twist is so obvious. Like that he was the stranger. I was like, I didn't believe it because I was like, there's no way it's this obvious, but it was this obvious. And apparently, it's also the apprentice of a character of Vernestra, but that doesn't come up at any point during the series until the very end, and it doesn't even matter. So I don't know why I was there. So yeah, no, just he's fine as long as he doesn't say anything, because then he's fighting, then he's cool. Yeah, no. Again, so I'll tell you about the characters. The characters really just don't work for me. That is just the genuine. It's just a genuine direction. The main characters here don't work. So yeah. Let's move on to the plot of the. My jaw. Let's move on to the plot. So, again, the plot is rushed in 8 episodes. So, what I was really... So, there are a lot of weird things happening with the plot. Like, characters just kind of do things out of nowhere and don't really make any sense. I feel like we were getting somewhere with Osha being with with May, you know, taking the appearance of Osha and like doing something with that, but then again, that didn't go. That was solved in 1 episode, didn't go anywhere. I thought we were getting somewhere with Osha being with Osha being saved by Kamir, but again, that did go somewhere, but didn't go the way it needed to go. And also, and it just kind of weirdly paced. So the first few episodes are all about the murder stuff, and cool. I think that would have been cool, but then again, there's a lot of weird lore stuff, not lore, weird pacing stuff here. For example, the Torkin. Is his name Torkin? He's meditating or whatever because of what happened then, and he's like, oh, but he wants to repent or something, and he lets May kill him by poison, but May was already there to kill him beforehand. So why didn't he just let himself die by then? It was just to pad out more time. Maybe if it was you needed to trick Torben to kill him, maybe that's why. But that wasn't the case. That didn't go anywhere. Yeah, just weird pacing. Again, the show has some weird stuff, weird decisions. Plagueis is here hiding on a mountain, hiding in a mountain. He doesn't do anything. That is I think Plagueis wasn't even mentioned. He wasn't even mentioned. He has no impact on the series as a whole. I think what should have happened is that Plagueis, Plagueis is part of the plot. He maybe isn't active, but he's definitely a part of it. Where he sends Kamir to find Osha because he finds out about whatever Osha came out of, and life, that was life made by the Force, and we want to replicate that because she's a powerful being and whatever. So he sends out Kamir to sort of frame her, bring to light what the Jedi did. Frame her so she gets involved, so she's more easily accessible instead of hiding out wherever she was. And then and then get her to actually find out what the Jedi did. That's that seems very convoluted, but I mean, it's something. I think it's better. A very carefully crafted plan. That really that hinges basically on just that hinges on just them at least knowing that it's Osha. Maybe I don't know how you would frame it. Maybe the twin thing didn't make sense. That was a big part of it. But then again, if you remove it, where does that go? You could maybe say that maybe he used the Force to cloak himself or something. I don't know. Use technology to make himself appear like Osha and frame Osha and whatever. But it could have used. They could have done anything. I think. There's also just fucking some weird ass decisions, the Pip droid didn't do anything. It didn't seem like it would be important, but it didn't. It wasn't. Just again, just the fact that also I forgot that the mother, that Osha wanted to go with the Jedi, and the mother was gonna tell them that she wanted to go with the Jedi. But then, she did the whole thing and they didn't tell them immediately, and then that's what led to her death. And then she immediately after that told them. You could have just told them anyway. You could have just told them that first of all, but you didn't. And that just led to everything. That entire thing would have probably solved the plot. And Osha's in danger. We'll go help her or something. You could say something, say anything, and it would have saved you the entire show. But of course, whatever, no? That's not what it was about. Yeah, also, yeah, and then also, I talked about the horrible pacing, but the pacing is genuinely atrocious in this show. It it sort of starts up like that, like we're going places, and then we're going to Kalnaka. And then when we reach Kalnaka, the series takes off a big dive. That's like episode what? 4? Episode 4. No, wait, I forgot about the flashback. The flashback episodes don't really tie into an actual flashback the character's having. Then it's not like they're explaining anything in the episode. Like there's no plot progression. It's just a flashback. I think could have been cut down to actually be part of the series, like as a whole. So again, we go back to 4. So again, like I said, there's only 6 episodes of the show. We go back to fucking hell. We go back to that with the Kalnaka. Kalnaka's dead. The Khmer kills all the Jedi, which was one of the things I was kind of wondering about. Like, whoa, how maybe the Jedi aren't really how are they gonna be like there when they're aware of Khmer and all its presence? Like, maybe they're all dead. Like, well, we did predict it. Well, they were all gonna be dead. They were all gonna die. So, yeah, no. It was very surprising to see those characters that we were building up, like Daphne Keen's character and Yord. They were brought up to be kind of big characters in the show, and then they immediately died. And I'm not mad about it, but kind of surprised to see that happen. That was one of the that was one of the things I was like, okay, I like what you're doing here. Then after that, take it to the planet. Episode 6 was kind of a nothing burger. Episode 5 and 6 were nothing burgers, I think. No, wait, episode 5 was the fight scene. But that was like the entire episode. It didn't really matter. 6 was like a nothing burger. 7 was a flashback, and then 8, and then that was the finale. This show was paced horribly. Just what else is there? But like like I said earlier, the Osha turning to the dark side again. That was rushed until episode 8. Everything kind of resolves itself pretty easily. There are things that happen with like the Vanessa finding out about like what happened there, and us seeing some things that don't really matter. Like again, Vanessa being the master of Khmer, not really mattering. Vanessa is here for no reason. The whip lightsaber was brought to be something really big, and then just wasn't. I gotta talk about this. I don't care that Ki-Adi-Mundi's here. We never knew his age, so it doesn't really matter. Stop talking about it. It's not a big deal. It's not an actual critique of the show. It didn't retcon anything. Just putting it out there. This show could have been a lot better. This show's plot could have been a lot better, but it's very messy, and I don't know how you really defend this. I really don't. I really don't know how you defend this. This is kind of just bad, like full on bad. So yeah, I think that's about it for the plot. This episode really not as long as other Star Wars episodes. Let's talk about the future. More specifically, season 2. What season 2? This show got canned. Everyone knows this. The show got canned. The show got canned hard. So, Again, like I said earlier, what the fuck did you expect? The show bombed. Bring it back all the way to that. The show bombed hard. Nobody watched it. It cost a lot of money to make and to produce. To make and produce, same thing. To produce. And it wasn't an worthy investment in Disney's eyes to continue it. And people are surprised about that. Like, oh wait, why wouldn't they continue it? I wouldn't. So you guys gotta remember that Disney, like, it kind of sucks, right? Like the show was getting to an interesting point. I think we were getting to an interesting point in the show. I think the show was at its best, at its finale, with all like the things going. We were going in an interesting direction. Sure, the journey there was absolutely terrible, but we were getting to a certainly interesting point in seeing how the story would develop after this. Now we won't, and that kind of sucks. But again, this should have been expected. I said nobody watched the show. I know nobody watched the show because even the biggest Star Wars fan I know, that's a bigger Star Wars fan than me, didn't watch the show. So what I'm thinking is like, okay, this show's gonna get canned. Like they won't continue it. They won't do anything with it with these characters anymore, and we just won't see it. I thought the show was done for, and even then when I saw the finale, I was like, okay, sure, I can see season 2 happening, but it's probably not gonna happen. So then what happened? The show got canned, and it got canned rightfully. Like if I was Disney president and I was planning to. And I was like wanting to plan out just this entire show and whatever. And then I see that number 1, it's getting bad reviews. Number 2, it's not doing well on the service. And number 3, it's not doing well enough to actually make a profit and to make back those $165 million. Then I see that it's a failure critically, a failure with viewership, and a failure financially. It's gonna get canned. It's gonna get canned. Like, who didn't see that coming? Who didn't see that coming? And now the people are apparently, we should petition to get season 2. You're not getting accept it. You're not getting season 2. Just move on. And also, a message to Manny Jacinto, the actor for Kimir. I respect you. I like how you acted in this show. You weren't given the best script. I understand that. But I know you're not watching this, but you need to move on, man. You need to move on. This whole thing about trying to get season 2 done isn't worth it. You're not getting anyone. Okay, like nobody watched this show. Nobody watched this show. It didn't get as much viewership as any other. I think got pretty low viewership for a Star Wars show. Like Star Wars fans didn't watch the show. General audiences didn't watch the show. It would be a failure financially, a bigger failure financially to do season 2. You gotta see that. Everyone's gotta see that. This isn't like you guys say, oh, Clone Wars was bad. That was a different time in television. That was a different time. Just a different time. Now series not only cost more, but have to have bigger eyes on it and have bigger actors and all that. Back then, animated shows were made of multiple seasons already done. Right now, this is a live-action show, $165 million. Seasons take over 3 years. Their decisions are going into different seasons. Like, this wasn't just, oh, the show's bad, but like, sure, it gets better. Like seasons go on and on. Like shows that were bad back then got a lot of seasons of television. Like that was animation. Like animation is generally cheaper than just doing it live action. This is a pretty beefy live action show. Like this takes a lot of money. Just a lot of money to produce. And people just gotta see that. This show is just not well off financially. Again, it's just not. So it's a bad investment for Disney. It's not it wasn't received well. So, like I would just say let it go. Let it go. Like, if you like the show, I understand why I understand why you're upset. I'm upset. Like it was getting interesting. Like, it was actually getting to a point where it was interesting, and I would have probably followed it. But I still would have probably not I still would have made this episode the same way I would have made every other episode. The same way I would have made it right now. Bashing it because it's a bad show. It's a bad show. It's just a bad show. So, like, again, I would watch it still, but then see where it goes. Maybe it gets better. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But then again, the journey to get to a better season is probably not worth it because it's just kind of really bad writing. Yeah, there is a season 2. I read that in there before season 2 wasn't even a thing. There is a season 2. There won't be. There will never be. There will never be. Apparently, it's not gonna take it. They were doing something I do think it's weird is that they were taking out merch for the show. That's weird. I think that's actually really weird for them to do. People were saying, oh, it's gonna get moved away. It's gonna get removed from Disney Plus, kind of like Willow got. That probably isn't happening. So you're still gonna at least enjoy the show. But yeah, no. The show just didn't work, and that is the genuine, like, just that's it. It didn't work. It did. Yeah, no. That's about all I gotta say about the show. I think just bad all around. So yeah, put it into the tier list. This show goes on the solid D tier. It is, I think, the worst show we've reviewed. Like, not the worst show, but the worst Star Wars show we've reviewed as of yet. It might be, a Scouted Crew might be worse. But yeah, no. A big disappointment. I think that's the biggest. That's the best way I can describe the Acolyte. A big disappointment. It could have been good, and like I said earlier, I liked. I was looking forward to the show, but it just didn't deliver. Sadly, didn't really deliver. So yeah, solid D tier. Not that again had some good parts, but there's more enough to save it from a pretty low tier. So yeah, what did you guys think about the Acolyte? Leave in the comments below. All our socials are in the description. If all our socials are in the description, if you wanna talk to me about anything there, or please ask me anything, or you just follow me. And yeah, no, that's about it. See ya.